Alright. So, today wasn't, not quite sure how to explain it. But, I was watching HOTH, HOTH, that was the leading gapper here. Right here you can see it. So as of right now, it's gapped up to around 96%. And, man, this thing kind of kicked my ass today. So on the 5 minute, we had a nice run up. And, you know, I was really kind of watching it pretty much since like 8:45, 9 o'clock. And again, my rule is to not trade until at least 9:50. So kind of stayed away from the morning breakouts here. Give it some time to kind of like form. You know, actually give me some little bit more data to work off of. And so all my lines did not save because I ended up having to leave, so it logged me out to go get my hair cut. But on this 5 minute chart, you can probably see it as well. It's very kind of hesitant. However, I got in with pretty much a low amount of shares to begin with. My first order was here at 407. Bought in at 407 here, it looks like. Then I went ahead and added at 411 for the breakout here because I kind of saw it curling up. I did notice the wicks though, right here. Here. But this kind of lower or higher lows that I was starting to see formed a bottom here and started to stair step its way up. Kind of looking for the momentum and the break towards the upside of that 420. So I had right here, looks like I added 400 shares. No, so I added 400 shares here for the potential break, and then added another 400 shares here at 399. So I had 900 shares, and then I sold all 900 on the confirmation that it was weak. So it looked really weak, and I went ahead and just cut the loss. I think it was like a $50 loss, like with commissions or something. And my approach on this one was under VWAP was when things started to look good for me. I went ahead and just accepted the break even, pretty much a break even loss here. And on the way down on these flushes here, I was really looking at the 5 minute lot too. And on the 1 minute. So after I kind of broke out here and I saw it fade towards VWAP, the first flush down on the 1 minute chart, I got in here with 200 shares. Traded sideways, ended up getting in again right here. Dipped back down even more, got in again. And honestly, I was pretty scared in here. That 350 level looked pretty strong, and I just kind of felt uncomfortable because at this point I had gotten in with 600 shares here, and made a small push right here up to 373, and I thought things were gonna look good, to be honest with you, because what I'm used to on, or what I'm looking for on the 9EMA under VWAP is I'm looking for pushes, and normally once it goes under, you'll get one push, two push, then third push, as long as it's strong, will tend to break out. But it never broke out above VWAP, and that was kind of my target, was a breakout of VWAP. So this thing just kept going down, and again, once it kind of broke this 350 level on the dip side, this was a low at 344, came back down to 344, so I was thinking that, okay, well, this might be a good chance to lower my position a little more, average in. So I got my last 200 shares here at 344. Okay, so this was the stressful part here, was putting myself in a position where I had 800 shares at an average price of 359, and having this thing trade sideways as long as it did. My last purchase was here at 1048. We pretty much got the sideway. Now, I mean, shoot, right here it hit a high of 355, so still wasn't even a break even for me. And I placed my stop right here. I had a stop set at 324 with slippage down to 320. So this thing came down but not low enough, so I didn't get stopped out there. It did curl back up, and it ended up making this push, and this push right here was pretty tough. So on the 5-minute chart, obviously it looks a little bit slower, but you had the ups and then the downs, and it seemed to hold really good around this level. And this one was a low of 326, and my stop was 324. So I had the right idea. As far as my stop loss was a good place for it. So I'm happy I didn't change my stop loss. However, knowing that this thing had a lot of downward momentum and it took freaking forever, I had it in my head that this thing was gonna take off, and it was almost like so hard to stomach the position that I was in. That just tells me, like, I was definitely more emotional because I was happy, and then I was sad, and then I was happy, and then I was sad. So today was definitely like an emotional roller coaster for me, and it was definitely a learning experience. I tried to wait as best as I could. I was as patient as I could be. It freaking sucked just, it's sitting down here and thinking, is things gonna break me out? It's gonna stop me out, and now I'm gonna be down more money than I had wanted to, because I got in with too large of shares for my account size and for me to kind of stomach. So this was not a very fun trading day for me. But the real thing was, why did I not get out right here? We finally had this momentum, and what I was seeing, which was really nice, I'll point this out, trend line here. maybe I have to click it right here. So 330 acted as a pretty strong area quite a bit right here. So what I saw was basically a wedge starting to come into play right here. And the main reason why I say that is just because here you can see, let me back up. You got VWAP right here. I got the 9 EMA, the 20 EMA, and the 50 EMA. Every time this thing came up towards it, it rejected. So the 50 exponential moving average seemed to be the most key role here in the taps. I mean, it acted as a great area of resistance pretty much all the way down. But then what happened when it started to trade sideways, everything caught up. And then that's when I started to see this area form where I'm like, okay, something's got to happen here, because I have this strong level right here of that 340, and it traded between 340 and 330 for quite some time, and then it started to build up this wedge, and then it ended up breaking out. So I was pretty much right looking for the breakout. Now, once it made that breakout, what was I thinking about this next area of resistance? So let's look back at the 5-minute here. So this candle here hit a high of 373. So if this broke through and finally passed 341 and broke through that level, the next area that it needed to break through was, I had it on my chart, it was 355. So once I saw it blow past through 355, which was right here and then here, we finally got that push. Maybe you can see it better on the 1 minute. Look, 350, high 352, pulled back, high 350. There's the break of 355. So right here, all the way up to 369, and then we got that push towards 372. So what my mindset was at the time was the ride of the 9 EMA and the shift of the tide. Even though it was below the 9 EMA, I was thinking this was the tide shifting. Buyers are starting to come in finally, and I was actually looking for the break through the highs and potentially testing an other area. So I had 380 on the chart. I have 4 on the chart, and then I think 410. Now the problem is, why did I not move up my risk? I had it still set. I did move it up. I moved it up to 334, and let me see where I did that. So right here, this is what I saw. This wick right here that hit a low at 334. I said, okay, let me move it up to 334, because on the 5-minute chart, when it came up, I said, okay, the low of this green candle is 334. Now, why did I set it at 334 and not potentially 346? That would have been an extra $10, so that could have saved me at least $80 if I had just tightened my stop then, having the confirmation of the move up. So I I could have easily just set it right there. Because once you kind of have that break of this anyways, you got a downtrend. So why take the extra loss if it's already confirmed that it's the trend has broken, or the bullish momentum has been broken, which is the break of this candle here at 346. I could have saved a little bit of money. So I was distracted. I was emotional because I had an uncomfortable amount of shares. Scaling in with 200 at a time just seems a little much for me. I can't say I didn't, because I did expect for it to move all the way down to 330 because I had the line on my chart. So I already had the idea that it could move down to 330. So patience is one thing. I mean, I could see it right here on the 5-minute chart. I got in every like 5 minutes for the first 3 times. So that tells me I'm not being patient enough, and I got in with more shares than I could handle. And that caused me to be more emotional, which led me to not be as rational when it came to the push back up. You know, I saw the push coming, but I felt like the market owed me something because I had waded through that downward momentum, the trading sideways, and in a way, I felt like the stock owed me more because of that, if that makes sense. So really, I held this position from 10:08 to 12, so over 2 hours I held my position, and that seems a little much. So okay, well, that wraps up today. It stopped me out. I'm down with commissions, almost $300, and it doesn't feel good. This was a good takeaway for me. I hate that I have to, I learn the hard way a lot, but I know that that's what it takes. So tomorrow I'm going to try to hit the reset button, come in with what I've learned, do a little bit better. All right, well, thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it.